Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel where we are trying to explore um, tango movements. We are trying to learn how to manage these movements into a very nice and fluid way of dancing tango. My name is René, and today we're going to try to do a certain set of movements that are going to work with the syncopation of music, syncopation of our movements. As usual, I want to start this um, hour of exercises and tango music and tango movements by thanking you for being here, for supporting all the arts and culture of tango. I want to thank everyone that came to the seminar that we hosted with Emiliano Messias and Leandro Benmergi in last 3 weeks in our virtual Milonga. That was very exciting, and we are looking forward to keep working on providing you with more interesting content, more education about tango. Don't forget that this is a very critical time. I know that most of you already want to go dance. I can sense this not only in the area where I live, but all around the world. People are demanding, like, we should at least try. I want you to be patient. Dancing tango is something we love, and we don't want to jump a little bit too early to do something that probably we're going to regret later. I encourage all of you, even if you're an instructor or an organizer, be a little bit more patient. We're almost there. We just have to wait and be safe. Let's play safe, let's dance safe, okay? So, and that's the reason why I want to encourage all of you. Keep producing things for your students at home, and you students keep supporting your teacher. Not only in this channel, not only to me as René Davila, or not only to your favorite tango instructor. There's a lot of other things that are happening tango related. There's a lot of concerts, there's a lot of education about music, there's a lot of education about how to dance to that music, musicality lessons. There's a lot of other content that all these artists are trying to provide to you so you can practice at home. So the best way to do that, to support, to be patient, is to keep working at home and try to stay strong, stay healthy. That's what we want. Everybody wants that. That at some point when we can go back from Milonga to a social dance, we can find all the people that we have been missing for almost a year now. So once again, I'm begging you not to leave home. I'm begging you not to organize events. Stay home, stay safe, okay? But I'm going to explain everything from the very beginning so you can have a perfect vision of the step. So far, after that we worked in the series of very long steps, we moved from that sequence. We moved on from that sequence, and now we're building a different sequence using more syncopation. So I want you to pay attention the moment of the music that I am going to be using. In this part, I'm not going to be talking about the music. However, I want you to get used to what you are listening right now during the lesson. This musician, the name of the musician is Miguel Caló. He was a great musician. He was a conductor, he was a composer, and he's directing this orchestra. And the singer is, well, there's a different set of singers, but what I want you to capture is the elegance of the movement that Castillo used to have. So for that, I'm also putting a link to the songs of this playlist so you can practice at home. So let me start, excuse me, let me start with the movements for the gentlemen, for the leaders. All you have to do is remember how to start to do the basic cross system step. So I walk side step. My lead is lifting my dance partner up so she doesn't step with her left foot. I'm holding that left foot in the air while I'm switching my weight. I'm doing very obviously here so you can see. And then my left foot is ready to walk. I call it, it's not like chasing, but see, my left foot is right in front of her left foot. But I'm not going to try to go right in front of her foot. I'm going to try to go a little bit, kind of like, in a way, very close to the side of her foot. Not here, but here. Not here, but here. So the movement actually is taking a diagonal step. That movement, walking in between her legs, is generating her right leg to swing. And then I'm going to pull that leg in order to create the enrrosque. When I create the enrrosque, what I am doing, I am sending her right leg away, and then I'm pulling it back, but on this other side, on my right side. So she ends up doing a movement a little bit like this. Okay? Don't worry, ladies, I'm going to explain that to you later. But still, I want you to understand what the gentlemen are doing. So, if I'm going to lead that, I'm going to take a side step, I'm going to lift her up, collect my feet, switch my weight, walk with my left with a lot of energy. And what do I mean with a lot of energy? Pushing with my chest. I need to displace her. Boom! When I push her chest with my chest, her leg is going to fly away. That's the effect that I want to create in her leg. So the moment I go, see how I'm planting my left foot. By the time her leg is behind, I'm going to bring her back. See, it's like the energy goes in the shape of the letter U. U. So in order to be completely solid on the ground on my axis, I'm going to leave my left foot forward. Boom, boom. And only when her leg is, and remember, I'm always talking about the leg. I'm not saying feet. Remember that, ladies. When her leg is arriving, in that moment, I am also collecting. Because I was firm, I was keeping my axis strong, and then when her leg is arriving, I don't need that stiffness any longer. I'm not grounded on the floor. I'm just flowing with the movement. Okay? So let's do it one more time. I take a side step, I lift her up, I do the sacada, making sure that my left foot is next to the inner side of her left foot. I push with my chest. I try to make a U movement. And then, see, I'm just arrived with my right foot, right? So, the next thing that I have to do is keep walking with my left. So, if I'm doing this, that would be the salida. And what the ladies are doing is pam, boom, pam. Right after the enrrosque, the foot that is ready to go is her left. So what I'm trying to show you here is that all of a sudden, we are, although we have done cross system, if I keep walking with my left foot, I'm going to keep the cross system walking. So I have to, instead of walking with my left, I am going to walk with my right in order to come back to the parallel system, because I need the parallel system to what is coming next. So, one more time. Now with that little change that I just did, sacada, enrrosque. In the enrrosque, I'm going to try to hold my, it's kind of like I'm holding my breath. I'm making a little pause, especially if you don't know this movement. I'm going to try to calm down. And then with that same right foot that just arrived, instead of switching and walking with the left as I did before, I am going to keep walking with my right. As I walk with my right, she's walking with her left. And look what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to walk in front of my other foot. So I'm not going to try to keep going normally as I would go. I'm going to try to walk here, and immediately I'm going to pull her towards me. And then I'm going to go one more time. And then I'm going to do a rebound step. I'm going to explain this a little bit later. I come back where I started. I did 3. I come back 3. And then I keep walking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? So, let's go back to the moment of the right after the enrrosque. Side, I lift, I walk, sacada, enrrosque. I keep walking with my right, but I'm not going to walk over there. I'm going to walk in the line of my shoulder, my left shoulder. And then I'm going to bring her completely towards me. See how, like, when I do that, my arm is right in front of my chest. I cannot pretend to do this here, because she's going to, instead of making an enrrosque, she's going to move her whole hips, and she's going to try to do a back ocho. So you have to make sure that she is completely in front of you, okay? At first, I'm not going to use any syncopation, so we're doing it very slow. Let's do it again. So, I hear the music. Pam, 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 pam. In the next one, I did 3 enrrosques, right? We're just practicing. I'm going to do a rebound. Pam, pam, pam. I keep that movement. Every time that I'm moving, I'm frozen her body. The only part that both the follower and the leader are moving is the lower body. So 1, 2, 3. And from here, I count the basic step. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then I finish, okay? When I create the first set of enrrosques, like I said, I am inviting my dance partner. If I bend, let me start by the very beginning. I'm going to try to keep my legs during the enrrosques very elongated. The leg that is arriving, look at my knee. That leg is bending. The other leg is constantly straight. Okay? Let's say I did the enrrosque, I do forward step, and in the rebound, I'm leading the enrrosque. Look how my feet, I'm going to put my feet in front of the camera, my feet remain very parallel to each other. I am not like this. This is not going to help you. I am not here. This is not going to help you. You need to make sure that when you arrive after the enrrosque, your foot is a little bit behind the other, but parallel to each other. And then, in order to keep walking backwards, I'm pushing the ground with my right foot up until that knee, my right knee in this case, is elongated. Elongated. That exercise, if you practice a little bit without doing any steps, that exercise is going to fill in your glutes, because most of our balance, your glutes and your quadriceps. So I want you to make sure that you're doing it correctly. After this, I'm going to do a rebound. During the rebound, my legs are completely elongated as well. And then I'm doing the same movement, but in the opposite direction. I walk and I keep dragging the left straight. And I'm bending my knee, my right knee, in order to give space for the leg to arrive. Okay? If I do this, I'm going to use the time of the music that is going like this. Pa, 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 pa. If you remember the musicality lesson that we did with Emiliano and Leandro, you're going to remember how Emiliano was explaining that, like dropping the hand on the piano, that is the strong, the downbeat that I want you to hear in the music. So I'm going to wait. So I go, pam, 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 sorry. And I go, pam, 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 pam. Dancing is organizing our movements. It's not something that we have to learn by heart. Well, at first we learn by heart, but at some point, that organization of your steps is going to allow you to move with ease, very fluidly, all around the room. So at first, it's feeling a little bit robotic because I'm trying to follow perfectly the music. One more time. Pam, 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 pam. I'm not really sure if you want, you can go back a little bit in the video and see the difference. At first, I did it very conscious about just the beat. In the second, like the one that I did just right now, I felt a little bit more dancing. So I did those two different things so you can feel your body dancing. So now, if you are already good at this, you can start doing syncopations. If you remember the syncopation, all you have to do is move a little bit faster. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Right? So we're going to try to do that now, which is very simple. The syncopation, whenever we do the syncopation, we're going to try to do smaller steps. Don't try to make them long. We can do long, however, because we're learning, we're going to try to be very careful, and especially with my dance partner, because probably she doesn't know how to do this. So I have to be very clear when I'm leading her. So I go. Here I can take all the time in the world. Bam, bam. The syncopation starts when I am going to go forward with my right foot. I didn't want to do anything with my mouth or show you what the connection with my steps and the beat. I wanted you to hear how I was going with the music. Okay? Now I'm going to make sounds with my mouth so you can tell how I'm going with the music. Bam, 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 bam. Bum 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 bum. Once again, if you go back a little bit in this same video, the first part that I did very slow, but doing the syncopations, is a different, it has a very different feeling of the second part, because you can place the syncopation wherever you want. Even my brain works in such a different way that my brain doesn't like repetition. So I'm trying to do something different every time. I know that for now, because you're learning, you need to do repetition. So I'm going to give you a suggestion as how to practice this, but that doesn't mean that that is the norm. You at the end need to decide, as a leader, you need to decide when you want to do the syncopation. You have to feel the music, how the music is telling you to do that syncopation. As an instructor, all that I can do, and all the instructors, all they can do is guide you through the steps and suggest what you can do, but at the end you decide. Okay? In this case, this song, it's like I said, Miguel Caló has that quality that his music is extremely elegant. It has a very nice and steady melody, but in the background the piano is going cha 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 cha, that I can cha 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 cha, that is going 1 2 1 2 1 2, but the downbeat is bam 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 bam. So I'm going to try to play with both. Okay, now I'm going to show you in the way that I was originally doing, not the way that I dance, but the way that I would like you to practice at home. Bam, 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 bam. I wait one beat here, bam. Then I go syncopation. Pa, pa, pa. That's my first enrrosque. Pa, pa, pa. That's the second syncopation. I do one more, and here calmly I'm going to come back. Pa, pa, pa. I'm making pause again. I'm going to go forward, slow. Pa, 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 pa. Pause. And then keep going. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's do it one more time. One more time. This is kind of like setting the speed that, and when to change that speed. Slow, 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 slow. Pause. Keep walking with the right. And the moment that you're ready to walk with the right, you start doing the first syncopation. 1, 2, 3. Here you can pause. And then you prepare your left leg to start doing the second syncopation. 1, 2, 3. The next one is slow. Then you're going to do slow again. Ba, ba. Oh, I'm sorry, you can do that slow or fast, it doesn't matter. But bum, 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 slow, and then the left starts the quick. Ba, ba, ba. Pause. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So everything is working nice and steady if you keep doing it like that, using that speed. Okay? Now, how are we going to lead the lady to keep her legs completely in a steady as my posture is? How am I going to try to keep that in her body? The first thing that I was telling you about is how important So we're going to try to do this one more time, but thinking of what the lady is doing and talking about the lead. Side step. Here, I'm lifting her up. When I'm doing the syncopation, everything happens a little bit faster. Enrrosque, I place my foot here. I am keeping lifting her up because if I drop her, she's going to switch her weight. I want her to switch her weight, but even if I do just one, if I switch, she's going to immediately walk or try to use that leg. So hold it a little bit. And then here, very important, I'm going to keep, like I said before, you have to walk in thinking that you're going towards the line of your left leg, and immediately bring her towards the center of your chest. Now, for the next steps, especially if you're leading the syncopation, pa, 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 right? But I'm going to keep sending her core towards my left side. Pa, pa, pa. It's like I'm guiding her here. So, your embrace, your right arm is locking her from going to the side. I'm going to use the pillow here to explain this a little bit. If your embrace is correct, see, I'm keeping the pillow right in front of my chest. If my embrace goes like this, there is no chance that that leg that is behind her is going to come. Imagine that she's going this, you are this, and now I'm the follower. She's here. In order to go over there, she cannot go like this. So what she's going to do, she's going to pivot and she's going to arrive there nevertheless, but that is not what I want her to do. So your embrace, regardless of what is happening in the front of your chest, you want the follower to be in front of you. This kind of embrace, a lot of instructors suggest this kind of embrace, provided that the follower has the ability of disassociate her body very nicely. I would suggest that you, for now, because you're learning this, and this is going to also help you to learn how to disassociate more if you're a follower, try to keep your chest parallel to the chest of the leader. Now, leaders, in order to help you do that, don't see your elbow needs to be high and right in front. Your whole forearm is in front of your chest. If you go like this, you're creating a space on your side. So the ladies are very good to use the space. So she's going to immediately go there. And see how I am not dancing aligned any longer. This, of course, affects the way that my feet are going to be dancing and moving along her. So make sure that you are always dancing in a parallel position. We have discussed this before. Many of you that are watching this video for the first time, you're going to say, but how can I walk on her side with my right foot if she's like basically in front of me? You're not walking like a robot. Her leg, let's say these are her hips. So I'm going to take a side step and look how my feet are finding space. Because my body is flexible. I can walk without moving my chest. That is taking care of her. I can go around. Okay, so feel your joints. It's very important for you to feel how you can use your spine to do certain movements, the joints of your hips, your arms, the joints of your shoulders. See, I'm all the time, in order to keep correctly, I'm moving my whole body. I'm not just moving my feet. If I would just move my feet, it would look a little bit like this. And that is what I was doing when I was showing you the exercise without any feeling, being a little bit robotic. Okay? So let me explain, now that you have a little bit more of that notion of the embrace, let me do it again, explaining the lead. In the first part, I lift her up, sacada, enrrosque. I switch my weight, rebound, 1, 2, 3, rebound again, pa, 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 pa. I'm keeping everything locked here. It's like I froze the position, and all I have to do is either move my feet, and then when I'm ready, that step is going to be elongating. 3, 4, 5. When I mean elongating, I mean stretching my knees. 3, 4, and then I lead the crossing with my chest. Look at my chest. That's the reason why I say 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Just because I have a wall in front of me, that doesn't mean that I cannot keep going. I am making a left turn, okay? So that is basically what I want you leaders to do. Don't forget, this is something, it is complex. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, this is a piece of cake. It is not, but for now, developing your ability to learn how to do these steps, these movements together with the music is something that you need to learn if you like this, to do these syncopations. And be very careful whenever you look at your feet. For now, you're practicing, you're learning. So I want you to make sure that whenever you look at your feet are parallel. There is no such movement as this. We never, if you look at me doing this, I'm not dragging my feet. I'm trying to step very nicely. If you have taken one lesson with me, face-to-face, live lesson with me, I'm always asking people not to drag their feet. Not even see. The only way that I drag my feet is if I'm doing something elegant. But that is a very distinctive sound on the ground. If you're making this sound, shh, shh, terrible. When you're listening, when you go to a milonga and there is, you have to listen to the tango, and like it's a completely different sound if people are dragging like the tip of the shoe. If you're dragging the bottom of your shoe, it sounds terrible. Okay, so try to make sure that you're not making that sound. Now, let's see what the ladies have to do. This step for the ladies is, if you're not familiar with enrrosque, it's going to be a little bit challenging as well. So the first part requires you to train your leg in a very nice way. For that, I'm going to just give you an exercise in the very beginning of this part, and then we're going to move on to the set of steps that we're doing during the lesson. So we're just walking. This is, I'm facing one wall and I'm going backwards. I'm going to take a side step, and all the time that you feel that the leader is making a pause, I'm always asking you to create something, to not get frozen. So because I asked the gentleman to do a pause of at least one beat there, take advantage. See, I'm going to do the side step. So I'm not doing this. That is kind of like frozen and tight. Keep dancing. Bum, bum, bum. I waited just one beat there and I kept going, but that helped me to at least do something with my feet. As you have heard me saying to the leaders, I'm helping you to organize your movements so you can keep dancing in a more fluid way. That's the idea of this. If you organize how you're using your body, how you're using your muscles to create that movement, it goes better with the music, okay? So we're going to use, after that, I'm going to go in that way so you can see what I'm doing with my feet. Side step. I'm making a very nice and elongated step, and then I'm going to displace. I'm going to swing my leg all around, and I'm going to end up, see, I end up behind. But then I'm going to feel that my core is being moved forward. Then I'm going to keep going back, and I do the same movement one more time. This swing my leg, and when I feel that leg behind me, I'm going to see how when my leg is behind me and I'm moving again forward, I'm bending my knee and I'm lifting my heel off the ground. So I'm creating a space for the leg, for the right leg to arrive straight. When I arrive one more time to do the enrrosque, I'm having my feet parallel to each other. Sometimes the lead is so nice, so clear, so strong that your right foot is going to end up passing the left foot. What do I mean by passing? It's going to move a little bit forward, like I'm doing. Okay? Now, in the first part of, I'm trying to explain to you how the sacada and the first enrrosque are working. When you do this exercise, I want you to remember that you are doing step, say, I swing my leg. Imagine that you're drawing the half of a circle, like an upside down, a C, but on the other side. And then you have to imagine that you're going to, when your leg is behind you, see, my weight remains on my left foot, but then I'm going to imagine that I'm falling forward. And then my right foot is catching my fall. It's preventing me from going, oh. And then I lift. See, if I lift, I'm going to move a little bit here. The moment that you arrive into the enrrosque, I'm going to ask you to lift your hip. See, I'm creating space for the right leg. In order to do that correctly, I'm lifting my heel, my knee, and my hip to remain strong in my core, to lift my body, okay? So that is very, very important. Now, when you're practicing this, see, with this position, my core is nice and strong, my hip is up. I'm going to lift my foot. If I just lift my foot, it feels very strange, but I'm going to ask you to practice something here. Use the muscles in your hip area to lift that leg. It's like I'm doing this, see? I know it looks funny, but that is going to help you recognize which muscles I am talking about. And at some point, you're going to be able to use those muscles in order to do more interesting things, to jump over that foot, keeping, whenever I play with these muscles, I'm also learning how to keep my balance perfectly aligned without hesitating too much. And if you manage to do that, I mean, for me, it's very easy to do because I'm not wearing high heels, but most of the time you are dancing on high heels. So if you learn how to use those muscles around your core, you're going to be able to control that balance a lot easier. In high heels, in just one toe, it's very, very interesting. So if you're practicing just that first part, I want you to remember that your foot goes right behind and then is brought forward. If I keep doing that same exercise over and over again, I don't want you to believe that the sacada ends up automatically in an enrrosque. The leader decides to lead that enrrosque. Sometimes the leader is going to do the sacada, but is not going to do the enrrosque. So you're going to be doing something like this. That was just a sacada. And my imaginary leader kept walking. So I'm following that. If you constantly think that the leader doesn't have to lead the sacada, your leg is going to start to fly off the ground. That is a little bit dangerous because you can kick somebody behind you, and of course it doesn't have these aesthetical elements that we so much care when we dance tango. If your feet are off the ground, they have to be extremely beautiful. The movement needs to be perfectly done. If not, it can originate a disaster. So, for that same reason, for now, I would suggest you practice this, always caressing the ground. If you do slowly, now if I want to do it a little bit more on the time of the music. You can go a little bit faster, but respecting that going behind you first. Okay? Now, that is a critical part that I want you to be aware of, because when you are actually being led that exercise, most likely if you have been, if you know how to follow this step, most likely is that you're going to try to liberate that left leg in order to move immediately. Being a follower requires you to be patient with the lead. You have to wait until there is something that the leader is giving you. Although I am teaching both of you, leaders and followers, the same exercise, and I'm giving you the same information and how to do it as in a choreography, I don't want you to misunderstand me that that's exactly when the next beat you have to go. You have to wait, no matter what the leader is, his speed is, if he wants to take 3 beats of time, if he's going to go, probably he's not going to, or is he going to skip? I have not yet spoken about skipping beats, just like, you know, not wait to the music and do it a little bit faster. So all these things are very important for you to become a really good leader, a really good follower, sorry. So at this point, right after the enrrosque, you feel the enrrosque, try to remain here, nice and steady. The moment that he walks, no matter what the leader is doing, no matter how he's leading correctly, his embrace is good, bad, I want you to make sure that you always elongate your feet. See, my elongation is right behind my other foot. And you'll remember how I'm always asking you to, instead of practicing walking back in 2 different lanes, I'm always asking you to crisscross. Right? So, if you remember that after that enrrosque, a little bit of a pause here. My hip is high, my core is engaged, and then the moment that he leads me into that back ocho, you're going, like I'm asking the leaders to do, you're going to feel that his body is going to be moving a little bit towards that corner. And immediately he's going to raise you up against his chest. So welcome that without any resistance. As I was asking the leaders, if they move their torso too much energy, you're going to end up doing this, which is not right, because then you're going to be doing the enrrosques probably on your side, and that is breaking your balance. So if your chest, I'm going to use once again the pillow here. If I'm going to do everything from the very beginning. Two, three, rebound, and you're going to feel that he's not changing anything. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Not changing anything in his lead means that everything is going like you're carrying something very valuable and you don't want to break it. You're just moving your feet very nice and steady. However, the way that you're moving your feet, I'm going to do now, emphasizing the constant enrrosques. In the first part, I'm going to move a little bit. In the first part, I ask you to go strong in your core, lifting your left hip up, and then you're going to feel that the leader is moving back. See, I am lifting my foot using my hip. Then that also allows me to stretch my leg a little bit ahead of time. By the time that my foot reaches the back of my other foot, it's already, my whole leg is elongated. And then I'm going to do the rebound. In the rebound, you have to feel that both of your knees are completely elongated and that the joints of your hips are soft. You don't want to do this stiff. If you go like this, you're going to lose your balance immediately. Also, I don't want you to use your knees. If you use your knees, the feeling is going to be a little bit like this. And see how like my whole core has gone from being up, it goes and faces the ground, which is completely incorrect. So after the enrrosque, we go back, 1, 2, enrrosque again, and then it's kind of funny to me because it makes me feel like I'm dragging one foot, and that's exactly what we're doing. Now, in order to practice that part, you can just do that enrrosque, set of enrrosques back to back. See, I'm walking not in the same line of my foot. I'm going to walk, let's imagine, this is the mid line, right? I'm going to have another line here, or lane, and another lane here. So instead of walking in this lane, this would be parallel to the other lane. This would be using just one lane. But in the case of the enrrosque, I'm going to, instead of walking in front of my foot, I'm going to go a lane on the left. And I'm going to keep going in that direction. So I have the enrrosque, the rebound, and see how I'm practicing. I'm going to take that line. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now, in order to organize what you're doing together with the music, the easiest way to do this is counting slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Enrrosque, I go do the rebound. That was a slow, 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 quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, 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 slow. So you decide how you want to practice that. As I was asking the gentleman to do, there is no such movement as this. I'm not really sure if you can hear how the sound that my feet are doing, because there is, I mean, if I lift my feet off the ground, I look like a duck because my axis is going from one side to the other. You can't walk wobbling your axis from one foot to the other. In Tango, we try to keep our axis in just one line. So thinking about that, whenever you're using these steps, think of that line of your axis. And think of your feet. I'm not making any sounds. I drag my feet just at the very end. And try to make sure that all the time your weight is, as I always ask you to do, your weight is more on the ball of the foot rather than next to the, behind the little toe, okay? It has to go inwards rather than outwards. Here I have no balance, no control. That side of my ankle is very weak. Here, everything is engaged. I can hold it for longer, okay? You're not going to, this is a temporary position. You're not going to stay there for long. So if I come back to the set of steps, when I did this last time, the exercise was a lot slower. It was a lot more compact, you know, and I did it like, I'm not a woman, but kind of like using that energy that somebody else is giving me, not something that I am creating, okay? That's the reason why I am asking you to be very, very patient. Wait. Don't do the swing of your leg just by yourself. Move it the moment that you feel that the leader is pushing your chest backwards. Boom. Move your foot forward only when you feel that the leader is going, see, here he pushed, right? His chest is kind of like here. Never passing the line of your left foot, because then that means that you're going to transfer your weight. He's kind of like holding here, and that leg of yours has to be elongated. But then he's moving his chest to his back. That means forward for you. That's the reason why I was asking you to feel like you're going to fall forward. And then he catches you. He catches your fall. And then he keeps going. Even in that rebound, I'm following, I'm not losing the connection with his chest. I can stay here forever as long as he doesn't move. If he moves fast and he doesn't move anything in his feet, in whatever is happening here, I'm going to try to keep going in the same position. If he moves faster, you're going to feel where his feet are going. Now, the salida seems to be the easiest thing to do, but the salida is extremely important. I'm not really sure if you're paying attention to what I'm doing in the salida. What I mean, the salida is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3. I asked you before to lift that foot using the muscles around your middle section of your body. That means that I'm lifting my hip bone, and that allows me to know exactly where is the line of my other foot. So when I do that, there is a very nice elongation already. If I respect those rules, I'm elongating that leg for the next step. 3, 4. In the number 4, as everybody at this point knows, I'm trying to make a longer step, because the leader is probably, in order to lead me to the cross, he's elongating the number 4. That's the reason why I always say 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you feel that, like in this case, I'm finishing 5 here, there is no way that a good leader is not going to send me to crash against the lamp. Look what is going to happen with my left foot. 6, 7, 8. I arrived here on 5, but then I feel that the leader is moving. I'm going to move my torso with him. My foot is at the very end. And that pivot of 90 degrees is allowing my leg to get disconnected and swing around my axis nicely, like if it would be a ribbon that I'm dancing with. So at this point, I want you to understand that although I'm giving you certain things that you have to wait and follow, other things are you to keep and mix with whatever the leader is giving you. This last part is not led. You're doing it because you're feeling the music. So although you have to wait, you have to be patient, you have to be patient with your own movements, the moment you have the opportunity, you can use whatever movement you want. See, I can, of course, that I'm going to use on the stage. I'm not going to do that in a milonga, but I'm just showing you the possibility can go very crazy. Okay? Now, this is essentially for your information. I want you to, both leaders and followers, understand what is the difference. I'm going to show you very shortly what the other person is doing, okay? In this case, it's most important for the followers, because I want you to confirm with this part of the lesson that it's how unimportant it is to look at the feet of the leaders. A lot of you, especially when you're learning tango, you're attached to whatever, you're always trying to look at the feet of the man because you think that that's where the clue is. The clue is up here in his chest, in his midsection. So I want to show you how different the movements are of the man towards, I mean, as compared as the movements that you ladies are doing. As usual, the regular shoe is the left leg. The right shoe is the fancy one. So, I mean, the right leg is the fancy one shoe. So, at this point, I'm being the follower. The sticks are the movements of the leaders. So, side step, you're going to feel how the leader lifts you up here. You can play with that leg. The leader is going to switch his weight. He's going to rest his right foot on the ground without you noticing because you're up high, and he's going to keep his left leg ready to go. Whenever you're walking, he's going to start leading you back. His left leg is going to try to reach the side of your other foot, and that is when he switches his weight forward, that is what is going to ignite your leg to go and swing. Boom. And then he's going to pull you, and he's going to collect his feet. And after this, he's going to walk straight forward. In this part, his lead is, it's not coming from his feet. The lead is coming from the chest. So if the leader moves, see, I move with him. And then he keeps me locked in that embrace. He's not allowing me to go anywhere. Then he does a rebound. In the rebound, he does exactly the same. He's not doing anything different with the feet. So I'm going to try to keep going up until I feel a little bit that he releases that lock in his embrace. You're going to feel it very, very easily. The last part of the steps, I don't have to explain too much. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's something that you already know. Now let me show you the opposite side. So I'm going to be very precise in my lead. More when I'm thinking about the steps, don't just rely on your feet, gentlemen. Try to focus what your chest is doing. So side step, up. While I'm raising my chest, I'm holding her left foot upwards. I'm preventing that foot to touch the ground. I switch my weight. I touch the ground with my right foot. And then with my left foot, I'm going to walk right next to her left foot, in the inner side of her left foot, displacing her right leg to go back. When her leg is almost arriving into complete, a perfect semicircle, I'm already pulling her back. Boom. And I'm collecting my feet. I wait 1 beat, and in that weight of 1 beat, I'm leading the continuation of the step. In this case, we're doing a syncopation, we're doing a rebound step, and I'm going to try not to do this. I'm going to use my legs completely elongated. That is creating a very nice, the rebound happens in my midsection. It doesn't happen in my knees. If I go bending my knees, the rebound happens on the floor. Here, it happens in my midsection. So when I do the rebound correctly, you're going to feel it in your core. After this, I'm going to keep connecting with her, and I'm going to move her. See, let's imagine that I have the lady right in front of me. I am elongating, but at the same time, I'm dragging her with me. In every movement that I make, I'm inviting her to come with me. The same thing when I'm moving forward. I'm pushing, and then I'm taking her with me. Bum, bum. I can do this as an exercise 100 times. Going backwards, rebounding, and going forward. She's going to know that I'm not going to go doing the enrrosques any longer if I walk along the step. And in the next one, I'm not going to walk behind me. I'm going to look at my chest. I walk with my right, and my left is going in that direction, in this lane, not any longer in this lane. Remember that I was talking about 3 lanes? The lane in the middle, the lane to do the enrrosque behind, and this other lane to keep walking. That's how we gentlemen have to walk. Now, if you practice this, even with the sticks, see, I'm going to try to keep the sticks in my chest. The sticks are unanimated. They are completely stiff. They don't have a joint. You can just imagine it's a lot easier to lead this when the lady can move her leg, her hips, her whole body in a very nice way. So you're going to, whenever you do these steps in the real time, it's going to feel a lot easier, more enjoyable for you. For all of you, this is the last part of the lesson. I'm sorry I delayed it a little bit, the lesson today, but one little thing about if you're an advanced student and you want to practice this, use the music of Biaggi, use the music of D'Arienzo, use the music of any musician, any genre of music that you feel like is going to be challenging. The more that you practice this with more upbeat, it is going to end up being a lot easier. Of course, for me, in order to fully understand what you're doing, I want you to start slow. Don't jump immediately to make fast. Fast is easy, but it's also very easy to make a lot of mistakes. When you learn how to do very slowly, making sure that your feet are in a correct position, then when you're dancing fast, you're going to find out that it's a lot easier, but at the same time, it's a lot easier because you already know the fine details that are making your steps look good. If you just jump to do it fast, you're going to skip those details, and more likely is that you're going to end up making a lot of mistakes, although you're doing it seems that you're doing it fast and interestingly good, but probably it's not going to be that way, okay? So don't forget that. Lastly, I want to say that we have a very, very exciting episode of in our podcast this week. The name of the song that I decided to translate is Balada para un Loco. It's very exciting. I'm sharing some information of something that happened to me with that song, and it's, you know, as usual, it's a lot of fun to do these things for you. So don't forget, we're going to see each other in a few minutes in our weekly virtual milonga, so don't miss it. Everybody's invited. There's no charge to come to our milonga. We just get together and enjoy ourselves. So please come, let's discuss about tango. Let's do, sometimes we watch videos, sometimes we listen to the music, sometimes we even go virtually to Buenos Aires. So it's going to be a lot of excitement, okay? See you in a bit.